Once upon a time, in a small peaceful village surrounded by green fields and tall trees, there lived a brown, furry dog named Bruno. Bruno was not just any ordinary dog. He was strong, quick, and had a nose that could smell food from miles away. The villagers liked him because he helped guard the marketplace from stray animals who often tried to steal the vegetables and bread. But Bruno had one little problem. He was greedy. It wasn't that Bruno was bad at heart. He simply loved food so much that he could never be satisfied. If he had one bone, he wanted two. If he had a big piece of bread, he wanted an even bigger one. He always thought, if I get more food, I'll be happier. One sunny afternoon, Bruno was wandering near the butcher's shop. The smell of fresh meat floated through the air, making his stomach rumble. Inside the shop, the butcher was chopping meat for his customers. Pieces of bones with little bits of meat clung to them were piled in a corner. Bruno's eyes widened. Oh, those bones look so delicious. If I could get just one of them, I'd be the happiest dog in the world, he thought. Luckily for him, the butcher knew Bruno and often gave him small scraps. That day, the butcher threw a large, juicy bone toward Bruno. Bruno caught it in his mouth in one swift move. Woof! This is the biggest bone I've ever had, he barked happily, wagging his tail. But instead of sitting in a quiet corner to enjoy it, Bruno thought, I should take this bone to my favorite spot under the big oak tree near the river. There I can eat in peace, without anyone bothering me. Bruno trotted down the path, the bone clenched tightly between his teeth. Birds chirped above, and butterflies danced around the flowers. But Bruno didn't notice. He was too busy thinking about how tasty his bone was going to be. On the way, he had to cross a narrow wooden bridge over a clear, sparkling river. The water flowed gently below, making soft, bubbling sounds. As Bruno stepped onto the bridge, he glanced down into the water. And then, he froze. What he saw made his heart skip a beat. In the water, there was another dog, exactly like him, holding an even bigger bone. Bruno's eyes grew wide with greed. That dog's bone is bigger than mine. If I could get it, I'd have two bones. I'd be the happiest dog in the whole world. He forgot that the other dog was only his own reflection. Without thinking, Bruno growled at the dog in the water. The reflection growled back. He barked, and the other dog barked too. Determined to get the bigger bone, Bruno opened his mouth to snap at the other dog. But the moment he opened his mouth, plop! His own bone fell into the river. Bruno gasped in shock. He quickly leaned over, trying to grab it, but the current carried it away. The water rippled, breaking the reflection. The other dog vanished, and Bruno realized the truth. Oh no! There was no other dog. It was just me, he whimpered. His stomach growled loudly, but now he had nothing to eat. He walked away from the river slowly, his head and tail drooping. Bruno wandered into the forest nearby, feeling miserable. He kept thinking about his mistake. I had a perfectly good bone, but because I wanted more, I lost everything, he sighed. Just then, an old wise tortoise named Terra, who had been watching everything from the riverbank, came over. Why so sad, young one? Terra asked in her slow, gentle voice. Bruno told her everything, from finding the big bone to losing it in the river. Terra nodded. Greed is like a shadow. The more you chase it, the bigger it seems, but you can never catch it. And sometimes, in chasing it, you lose what you already have. Bruno tilted his head. So, you mean if I had just been happy with my bone, I wouldn't be hungry now? Exactly, Terra said. It's good to want nice things, but not so much that you forget to be grateful for what you already have. Bruno sat quietly, thinking about her words. For the first time, he understood that happiness wasn't just about getting more, but about appreciating what you already have. That evening, as Bruno walked back toward the village, he passed by a small bakery. The baker, a kind man with flour on his apron, saw Bruno's sad face. Bruno, you look hungry. Here, take this, the baker said, tossing him a warm bread roll. Bruno caught it gently. This time, he didn't rush to find something better. He sat right there in the bakery's doorway, enjoying each bite. "This bread is so tasty," he thought. "I'm glad I have it." From that day on, Bruno tried to be more grateful. When someone gave him food, he ate it happily instead of dreaming about getting more. And though he still loved big juicy bones, he never again risked losing what he had just because he wanted something bigger. Over time, Bruno became known not just for guarding the marketplace, but also for his friendly nature. Children played with him, villagers shared treats with him, and he wagged his tail in gratitude. He even helped other animals learn the same lesson. If a squirrel complained about having only one acorn, Bruno would say, "Be happy with what you have, you never know when you might lose it." And every time Bruno passed the river, he would stop, look at his reflection, and smile. He knew now that chasing shadows of greed could make you lose real treasures. Greed can make you lose what you already have. Be content and grateful for your blessings, and you will always feel rich inside. Motivational takeaways for kids. Be grateful. Appreciate what you already have before wishing for more. Think before you act. Don't make quick decisions when you're excited or jealous. Greed brings trouble. Wanting more than you need can cause you to lose everything. True happiness comes from gratitude, not from having the biggest or the most. If you want, I can also make a shorter, illustrated children's picture book style version of this story, so it's even more engaging for young readers. That would include page-by-page narration with simple text and visual scene suggestions. Would you like me to create that?